In order to create an actual access process, if we click into jobs, here we can actually walk through a typical process of designating a card to an engineer to come in and do a piece of work in the rack. So we click on add a job, we can then create a name for the job. It may have specific change requests waiting to the process within the particular client, a start date and an end date. So here you can designate the actual time through which that door can be opened and closed. And then you can go into the system and then find out what type of door it is that we're actually opening or closing, the user, and then the card itself. That job has then been created, it's now in the system, and now it's ready to be used. Once the job has been created, we then have some various actions that we can actually work with, which are very easy to control on the screen, as we're going to demonstrate now. First of all, we can actually enable or disable the job, as shown there. We can also completely delete the job very easily, and then we can also edit the job accordingly by pulling up the screen here, and we can make any changes very quickly. The next segment of the drop-down menu in security is all down to the management of the system itself. Here's where we can manage the users, the cards, the doors themselves, cubes, depending on how the customer is creating their data center environment. We also have a specific whitelist that's connected to our pollers in case we want to manage cards inside the data room rather than externally. We also have a capability to input IP cameras. Obviously, these are very key towards the security access of both racks and cold aisles, and also the management of the polar interface into the rack security system. And finally, we have the history section where we can actually manage and control access and review history of which engineers have gone into which racks and when. And then obviously we can follow audit trails depending on whether there's been an incident and we need to detect very quickly if access was done at a specific time or if a door has been left open, and so on. So moving on to the history section within the card access control system, here we can actually review access that's taken place. If we click on access, we can then see obviously events where access has been denied. Could be down to a card not assigned, could be down to another issue. Obviously we can see situations where obviously racks have been authorized, and therefore timestamps can be tracked as well, depending on what was set up in the initial process.